Welcome to the Vue Toolbar Component tutorial. Using the Syncfusion Vue Toolbar, you can display a collection of clickable icons, buttons, and input elements that perform specific functions when clicked. In this video, I will show you how to add a Vue Toolbar component to a Vue project, set prefix icons and separators, change the display mode, and add input-based components to the toolbar. Before proceeding, make sure you have installed the latest versions of Vue and Node.js. I'll use Visual Studio Code as my editor and show the output in the Edge browser. To create a project in Vue, open Visual Studio Code and type the command npm create vue@latest. I set my app name as my Vue app. Next, choose Vue as the framework and JavaScript as the variant. A Vue project is created. I navigate to the newly created Vue app and install the required dependencies using the command npm install. Now, the application is configured with the default settings of a Vue project. To use the Syncfusion Vue Toolbar component, type the command npm install at syncfusion/ej2 Vue navigations to install the navigations package. To use Syncfusion components, I must register the trial license key. So I open the main.js file and import the register license method from the Syncfusion ej2 base package. Using this method, I can register the trial license key. For instructions on generating a trial key, refer to the link in this video's description. Let me open the app Vue file and remove the default code. Then I add the three major code blocks: script, template, and style. Within the script block, import the toolbar component from the ej2 Vue navigations package. Inside the style tag, import the material theme CSS reference to style the Vue Toolbar component. Following that, within the template block, let me add a division element tag, and within it, add the Vue Toolbar component. Next, I plan to display 6 items within the toolbar. To add items to the toolbar, I need to use the item directive and items directive. Let me import these two directives from the Syncfusion Vue navigations package and rename them to item and items respectively. I'll add the items tag first and include 6 item tags. To set the display names for these toolbar items, I use the text property and assign appropriate text values. To align the division element, let me set margin with appropriate values. Now I save and run the project using the command npm run dev. You can now see the toolbar with 6 items. Usually, toolbar items will have icons. Let me show you how to add icons to the items. To add icons for the first 3 items, add the prefix icon property. For these items, I have used the prefix icon property, so the icons will be displayed before the item text. For the rest of the items, add the suffix icon property. I set appropriate class names to display icons. Next, within this style tag, define a font face with a specific source path and name its font family to start accessing the required font icons for this toolbar at the application level. Then, assign the appropriate content values to access the font icons. To learn more about content values, refer to the documentation linked in the description. Now see the toolbar containing icons before and after the item texts. The toolbar items are currently displayed continuously. To group and separate those, use the separator property. To display the separator after the first 3 options, define another item within this items tag. Then set the type property with the value separator. The toolbar now contains a separator in the middle of the toolbar items. Next, let's move on to the toolbar display modes. When many options are added to the toolbar's default space may exceed the viewing area. So you need to specify a more appropriate display mode. There are 4 modes to choose from: scrollable, pop-up, multi-row, and extended. By default, the toolbar displays its overflowing items in the scrollable mode. First, I add 10 more items to the toolbar along with separators. Additionally, define the icon content for these newly added toolbar items within this style tag. Then set a width for the toolbar. Now, when you look at the output page, the toolbar items are displayed in a single line with horizontal scrolling enabled to move back and forth among the items. To display those overflowing items in a pop-up instead, set the overflow mode property to pop-up. In the toolbar, when I click the down arrow, you can see the pop-up displaying the overflowing items. To display them in multiple rows, I set the overflow mode to multi-row. Now the toolbar has multiple rows. When the overflow mode is set to extended and the down arrow is clicked, the other toolbar options are shown below. Finally, let me show you how to add input-based items into the toolbar. I want to add the input components, numeric text box, and drop down to the toolbar. For more clarity, I will retain 6 of the toolbar items and remove the rest. Add an item inside the items tag and set the template property with a value. Below this item, add a template element. Using the vSlot property, map the value from the above item. Then within this template element, I define the font size selector using an input element and set a placeholder. Similarly, I add another item and use the template element to define the font family drop-down. Now everything is set, and you can see the numeric text box and font family drop-down displayed in the toolbar. Let me summarize the video. You saw how easy it is to create a Vue application and add the Syncfusion Vue Toolbar Component. I also showed you how to add icons to the toolbar items and use different display modes. You can download the example in this video from the GitHub link in the description below. You can also check the link in the description to see if you are eligible for our free community license, with which you can access all our Vue components. Like the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.